Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to this new lab on vegetative propagation. We will do today the last two sections, which will be propagation by modified natural layering, which also includes modified plant tissue or specialized tissues, we call them. Today we'll propagate plants vegetatively using these plant parts that are actually tissues within the plant. In this case, we'll use mostly crops. So let's get started by introducing you to these plant parts that I'll be using for plant propagation. You have these at home as well. And also I'll introduce you to the media that I prepared for this particular lab. So let's start. Okay, so let me first tell you about the media that I prepared. This is actually made of compost. This is the compost. You can see the compost here. Okay, you need 2/3 of compost. You can also use organic fertilizer. And then I have a mix of sand and clay together. So what you need to do is to mix sand, clay, and compost so you can get a very nice homogeneous soil or media for your plant propagation. So this is the first step. As you know, the compost will give you the organic fertilizer, basically the food, the nutrients for the plant. As you know, you need nutrients. And the sand will allow the air to get into the root system. You don't need these big parts, stones and things like that you have to clear. And then you also have the clay, which will help you keep the moisture in this soil mix. So that's the first thing you need to do to prepare your media. I use compost. It's easy to find compost in nurseries, but if you don't have compost, you can always use organic materials, green manure or cow manure or any kinds of manure that is available to you, and you mix that with your 1/3. Like if you have 2 cups of compost, then you have 1 cup of sand and 1 cup of clay. That way you have homogeneous soil like this. You can also get a potting media actually that's already ready. It's already prepared for you, so you don't need to do this. Okay, so if you have access to nursery that sell these things, you can easily buy them. They're not really expensive. But if you don't need to. You just have to go outside under any tree and you get your clay and sand, as well as some sulfur nutrients, which is going to be a manure. So this is now ready. Okay, so now my media is ready. I prepared the 3 of them. That should be enough. You can do only 1 or you can do even 6. It's up to you. But you choose a good number of trays that fit the number of plants you wanted to grow. So now let's talk about these specialized tissues that we use for propagation. And let's start by the common ones. I use the common ones that we have in your home. This is, for example, onion. You know what onion is. You can see the root system here and the old shoot system is here. This is the bulb. The bulb, as you know, is already, we already spoke about this. This is swollen tissues and it has the dry scale. Okay, so now you know you already know the structure of the bulb. This is another onion. This is actually half an onion, but this will do. And another type of bulb is the same with the dry tissue on the outside, is the garlic. But the garlic is different from the onion. It has these cloves. Here is garlic, and so you can see different cloves, but still this is considered a bulb similar to the onion. So this is the one, another one of the specialized tissue, which is swollen leaf bases. They are not stems, they are leaf bases that are swollen, whether they are onion or garlic. And this is what we will use for propagating both the garlic and the onion. Another tissue that is also a stem, even though this is underground just like the other two. This is actually a swollen stem. We call them tuber. This is for potato. And as you can see, there are eyes here. We call them eyes, but these are vegetative buds. And this is where the potato will grow. So you can see this potato has many buds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what we do this by dividing the potato. Here we are separating the different cloves of the garlic, but here we will have to cut it and then divide it and plant it in these trays. I also got another structure that is called rhizomes, and I got this about a week ago, and they were almost, when you buy them, you need to make sure they have these buds. They already growing actually, which is interesting because this has been here for 1 week almost. And so this is a rhizome. This is ginger. Okay, so this ginger will also grow just like you see now. All you have to do is just cut these different buds and plant them, and that's it. Then you'll have ginger of your own, and each of these small plants will have its own rhizomes of ginger. Remember, this is not a root system. This is also a specialized structure which we call rhizome. Okay, so it's not the root. That's a rhizome. Another structure that I got last week, and it seems also growing, is here, which is this plant here. It has already developed root system. It is in a hurry to finish. So basically this is called Aravi. I tried to remember it, but I did not. It's similar to a structure of the turnip, similar to the beetroot, but it's not actually beet. It's called, you can find these easily. It's called Aravi. I don't know what this is, but I use it for the demonstration purposes. But it says here it's Aravi. So this Aravi thing will also have buds. You can see the buds here, and even in the bag it's already developed roots. So this is ready actually. You just have to plant it in the soil and you are done. It's finished. It has already the root system. It has the bud growing. So this saves me a lot of time. So this Arabi thing, which is also a specialized structure because this is separate from the root system, but this is going to grow on its own and it's going to develop. You can see here so many buds are here, and all of these buds can grow to be complete plants. So this is what we are going to do. You can use also beetroot, you can use turnip, you can use any tissue that you like, but at least you can do ginger, potato, onion and garlic for this lab, but you can expand this to include other plant parts. Okay, so let's get started. What you need to do, you have to decide which one is separation and which one is going to be divided. So in this case, over here, the potato and the rhizomes are going to be divided. That means we'll chop them into different pieces. We don't need all of this. And the garlic will be separation because we'll separate each of these on its own self. So here is one. It's very simple thing to do is actually, you just have to make sure the lower part is going to be down, the upper part, this is where the vegetative part is going to grow. So what you do is you just plant it in this direction. You cover it with a little bit of soil, not too deep. You always, when you plant, just like seeds, you don't have to grow it too deep, but deep enough so when you water it, it's not going to come off. So this tray is going to have the onion and the garlic for me, and this is the garlic now. I'm going to plant it, all of whatever I can. So inshallah, within few weeks, this is going to grow, and each of these cloves is going to be a new complete plant. So it's very easy to propagate garlic. Okay, so it's not really complicated. You choose the good ones and then you just plant them here. I think I have enough garlic for now. And the onion, you cannot divide the onion, you cannot separate the onion, because these usually comes in a bulk, yani. Each of these will be planted. Actually, the one you plant is very small, but this can grow too. So you can just plant again the root at the bottom, and the shoot you keep. This is the root at the bottom and the shoot at the top, and that's it for my garlic and also for the onion. I am now done. Next, I will do the potato, and as I mentioned, for the potato tuber, I need to cut it, but first you need to know where the buds are. So most of my buds are here. This should be enough for me. Here you go. I cut it now. So here is one, and there is one. So this one will be on its own. Here's another one. Actually, if you put this in a bag, this is not growing. Why? Because we put it in the refrigerator. But if you put it outside, it will for sure grow, and that will also make it easier for you to grow it or propagate it. Here's another one. As you can see, the process is not highly complicated. You just have to cut this potato tuber, put it here, and that's it. That's all you do. Here's another bud, this one here. So I am going to just cut around it. Please don't injure the bud. You don't need to injure the bud. And I think I am done. I cut most of the potatoes in this tuber. This, I'll keep this one. Okay, so that is for the potato. I will also place this whole bulb here with the potato, and I will just water it. I will divide this one too, because it's also the same idea, the same principle. I will just cut it into two different pieces. I'll have one here, okay, and then I will have, I don't need this whole thing. Actually, you don't need the whole thing, you just need only that part. So for this one, I'm going to plant it with the ginger. Okay, here is the ginger. As you can see, the ginger is already growing, and here we have also 3 buds. One is already germinating, and you can also just cut like this and do the same thing here. And then in a few weeks, it takes about 30 days actually for established germination or for established growth. Okay, so here is some more of this ginger. Don't hurt the bud, don't cut the bud itself, stay away, give it space so there's a distance between the tissue and the bud. Here's the same thing. You can keep this one, you can remove it, it's not going to change much. So here you go. Now I have my ginger planted. Even if they don't germinate, what you need to do is just look for this. You see, this is already getting green. Some more buds here, as you can see, you know, like here. So you can take this part and germinate it, and then in a few weeks you will have new plants. So do this and see what happens. Look for the outcome and see how your different structures germinate, whether you're talking about rhizomes, tubers, bulbs, or even any other structure that we studied before. You can use that for germination. Okay, so that's basically it for this lab, and only thing left is you water it. So you are, and then you store it. You can store it in a clean, humid place. It will be better than if you are going to have it at home. Put it in a warm place, because this requires some kind of humidity and a little bit of light, because this is vegetative tissue. Remember, these are not seeds, so they're all tropical. I think the environment here in Oman is good for them. So once you water them, don't let the soil dry, but don't over water them too. You can see that I use everything here from home. I did not really buy specialized trays. I did not do anything, and that's it. That's basically what I'm going to do. I'll keep these until they germinate or they grow, and then each of these will give me a totally new plant. Okay, I wish you good luck, and let me know if you have any questions, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.